how do I review this movie? Like, how can I review this movie without offending everyone? Okay, so I guess just go into it. Black Christmas is the latest remake of the movie of the same name. There was previously a remake of this only in 2006, so now it's okay to remake movies from the 2000s. No one told me that. And like the other two movies, it's about a group of sorority sisters who are on campus during the holidays, and a mass killer is around coming to kill them, essentially. And I didn't really have any anticipation for this movie. Not because I'm a big Black Christmas fan. I've actually never seen either version of this movie. All I know about the original is that it's apparently a cult classic, and it handles a very tricky subject matter, especially at that time, which is still controversial today. And all I remember from the remake, when it came out back in 2006, that it opened on Christmas Day, which angered a lot of people. And I didn't really care too much at that time, because I didn't really care too much when that movie came out, because I was only 12. And this movie comes out now, and honestly, like, okay, so I have to address one of the elephants in this room. The trailers for this movie pretty much gave away everything that was in this movie, so I guess that's why I also kind of bombed. Because, like, oh, the trailers, they gave away everything, so you just saw the movie for free, now we don't have to see the movie. And coming from someone who has seen the movie, I can officially say, do not see this movie. Yeah, this movie is really not good, like, at all. The only thing that is actually really good in this movie is the lead character, played by Imogen Poots. I feel like I mispronounced that somehow. But she's really the only good character, the only really good performance in this movie. You at least sympathize with her throughout this entire movie. And she's the only one who feels like she's actually trying to be more than just a one-dimensional, annoying character in this movie. And that's one of my main issues with this movie. Literally every character in this movie is very one-dimensional. They have like a certain trait, and that's that. It's like not even one trait. Sometimes they're just characters who are just there. It's like, oh, hey, hi, whatever. And they don't really have any personality whatsoever. Like, Imogen Poots' character, she has a love interest in this movie, and he was very flat. He didn't really do much. Also, she has her sorority sisters. They don't really do much either. There's one who's like very socially who's like very into, very political causes, very important causes, and I'll touch on that later, definitely. And like the other bunch of them, they don't really have any personality. Like I don't care about any of these characters because they're not taking the time to really go into any of these characters. They're just really bad. And like the thing with this movie too is that this is supposed to be a horror movie, and they edited it down to PG-13, which I'll talk about in a few minutes as well. This was a PG-13 horror movie, and there are decent PG-13 horror movies out there. Quiet Place is PG-13, The Ring is PG-13, and this movie's PG-13, and it didn't work for me. The scares were not really that scary. I'd even go as far as to say some of the scares in this movie remind me of Scary Movie. Not like, the subgenres. Oh, they remind you of other scary movies that's good. No, it reminds me of the movie Scary Movie. Like that, and Scary Movie 3, like, there's a scene where Imogen Poots is on the phone, and it's like, there's nothing there, and she's like, hello, who's this? And then it's like, oh, hi, I'm the mom of one of the missing girls, and she's like, oh, hi, and it's like, wait, that was in Scary Movie. And, like, there's another scene where one of the girls turns around to another girl. By the way, the girl that she's looking for is actually dead. So it's like, come on, we gotta get out of here. She realizes she's dead. I'm like, wait, that was in Scary Movie 3. This movie thinks something is scary even though it was parodied in movies from 10, 15 years ago. Like, 15, 20 years ago. And the cinematography and score, they're very forgettable. There's nothing really here in terms of, like, quality filmmaking here, but the worst thing in this movie is the script. Now, if you had an idea of what this movie was based on the trailers, you can guess what it's about. It's tackling the Time's Up movement. It's tackling the Me Too movement. It's tackling rape culture, toxic masculinity, sexual violence on campus. And those topics are worth talking about. But the way they do it in this movie is beyond immature. It is horrible. It really is bad. Because, like, all these characters are really flat and they're just spouting out all these buzzwords and all these, like, words that are just going to anger pretty much anyone who has, like, a very strong opinion on this topic and make everyone else just roll their eyes because they know what it is. Like, literally at one point, one of the male characters says, well, I like beer. I'm like, ugh, God. And, like, I know, like I mentioned, the original Black Christmas tackled an important subject matter, so it's not odd that this movie is touching on that matter. It's not, you know, it's not bad that it's going to talk about that or anything. But again, it's like, it has the subtlety of being hit in the head with a shovel while someone else is pelting bricks at you and someone else is tasering you all at the same time. It is annoying. Especially coming from characters who have little to no personality. Like, and, oh my God. And here's the thing about this movie, too. This movie, like, as I mentioned, tackles the Me Too movement and all that. And, again, important to talk about in movies, especially in movies like this, I would say. And this movie was greenlit back in June of this year. I should add that. They announced back in June, hey, we're going to do a new version of Black Christmas, and it's coming out on December 13th, which is Friday the 13th as well. And when they hired Sophia Takal to do this movie, they didn't even have a script. And that is a bad sign, honestly, because, like, you need, like, several months to just, like, you know, get your screenplay right. And this movie only had 6 months to write, go into production, go into post-production and all that. And they filmed this movie, like, Sophia Takal filmed this movie, and it was originally going to be rated R. It's supposed to be 20 minutes longer, which I don't think that would have helped. But it was it was supposed to be rated R. And this movie is censored down to a PG-13 rating. This movie about women standing up saying they won't be silenced is literally censored. What the... Like, that is just hypocrisy right there. It's like... And... Like, also at the same time, this has nothing to do with the original Black Christmas, as it turns out, so you don't even need to see the original movie to, you know, understand what the movie's about, because, like, this movie, it's like, I mentioned that it wasn't a script, but if it actually was a script sitting on Jason Blum's desk, and they were like, hey, Jason Blum, we already had the script for you, it's a Christmas horror movie, and he's like, I don't know about that. Oh, come on, it tackles social subjects, like, you know, the Me Too movement and such, we could touch on that. You know, maybe that's not the best idea. Well, what? Is there something that can make me really interested in this movie or something? Well, we could call it Black Christmas, even though it has nothing to do with Black Christmas. You son of a bitch, I'm in. And, like, yeah, this has nothing to do with Black Christmas. This doesn't even have anything to do with Christmas. Like, it takes place during Christmas, and all the Christmas decorations you see are very generic. It's like they picked them up at Walmart, and, like, they just placed them there. Like, can we just end the argument that Die Hard is a Christmas movie officially after this movie? Because Die Hard has more to do with Christmas than Black Christmas. 2019 does. And... you know, I'm just going to spoil this entire movie because I don't care. This movie bombed. No one's going to go see it. And, like I mentioned, this movie has nothing to do with Black Christmas anyway. And I'll just say this. If this movie was, like, not titled Black Christmas, it'd probably be the Sorority Row remake. Another remake of that movie. And, basically, like, okay, so the main girl in the movie, she discovers that, the fraternity that's the main villain in this movie, they have this initiation program where they induct pledges by placing black goo on their heads or something, and it's coming from the bust of the founder of the college and the fraternity. Already that does not make sense, but whatever. Nothing in this movie makes sense. And so she doesn't really address this until after the big attack scene in the middle of the movie. And, like, of course, they're attacked. A couple of them are killed. And after they unveil who was doing it, she recognizes it's one of the pledges, the exact pledge that she saw. And instead of blood, he has black goo coming out of his knife. That's how it's his blood. It's black now. And, like, they're going over to, like, campus security or the fraternity at first, and the girl who's, like, really into all these causes, who believes Imogen Poots' character and everything that she said about the main villain in the movie and how awful she is, she doesn't believe her. And it takes, like, 5 minutes until she runs into her love interest and, you know, they go into the fraternity, and the friend runs into other sorority sisters who were attacked. And, oh yeah, that's a great thing. Hey, can you go into the fraternity for me? No, yeah, sure, why? And it's like, oh, no reason, just go in there. And as it turns out, the fraternity is essentially under the control of the founder, because the founder was a misogynist and a racist and all that. And he put his powers into pretty much everyone who joined the fraternity. I'm like, what? What? Like, nothing in this movie makes any sense. Like, and then, like, you know, at the end, Imogen Poots is captured by the fraternity. They have this big reason as to why they're doing this, and it's kind of like they're all under the control of the founder, it seems like. Even though that's not, it's supposed to be, but it's not like that at all. And at the end, like, when something bad's about to happen to her, the other sorority sisters come in, and it's like, yeah, this is the big girl power moment, and we never really know anything about those characters. Like, oh, those characters that we saw in 2 scenes for 5 seconds each. Yeah, great. And it's like, if you want to do that, if you want to tackle Time's Up and the Me Too movement and all those ideas, great. If you're gonna do it with flat characters, screw you. And at the end, like, she destroys the bust of the character, of the founder, and she helps her love interest escape, all the girls escape, all the guys are there to die, they're locked into the room now, and it's like, wait, if they're under the control of the founder, doesn't that mean that they're all going back to normal or something? Like, nothing in this movie makes sense, especially the last act. Just, I was laughing in my seat while watching that. And at the end of the day, all Black Christmas is going to do is that it's going to, I'll say this, it's not going to excite people. This is going to make people angry no matter what. It's going to anger people to go on one side of the issue or another, but then again, people actually need to see this movie in order to do that, and I do not want people to see this movie. So Black Christmas, really the only saving grace in this movie is Imogen Poots. Everything else in this movie is terrible, it's dreadful, it's stupid, it is just wrong. It's probably the most offensive movie of the year to me, honestly. Like, it's one of the most offensive movies I've seen in a long time, and I try not to get offended during movies or anything. But yikes. Only for Imogen Poots, I won't give this 0 out of 4 stars. I'll give it 0.5 out of 4 stars. Skip it. So, I don't know. What was the most shockingly offensive movie? Like, a movie that didn't intend to offend people, but did. What was the most offensive movie you've seen in a while? Yeah, there's really nothing to do. It insults men, it insults women, it insults anyone with an IQ over 50. And yikes. Alright, this is Pat, and just don't say Black Christmas.